this morning I measured this right here, so that way I can look for a new VHF that'll fit in this cutout. And then I measured my plate that I'm gonna put here. I need 9 1/4 by 4 inches. And then now I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna cut these hoses so that way I can get some splices, cut that, and that way I can get some splices for that. And then I've also figured out that the grounds for these pumps aren't really working right. So like if I turn my power on here, I'm up here, well, they seem to be working right now. Or no, this one's not working now. But if I move, there we go. So maybe there's a splice somewhere in here that all these grounds are spliced together or something that's working out. So I need to cut this, see? There it goes. Now it's on. So I got a splice, they probably got this, and the bilge pump all on the same ground spliced in this rigging right here. So I need to get that sheathing off of it and figure out what, how all these are combined together, because that's my problem with these pumps not coming on. Well, it doesn't look like they've been spliced together, but here's the grounding problem. It's completely loose. So what I need to do is go ahead and get this thing off of the wall, and once I get it off the wall, then I can clean it all up and get this straightened out, and that should resolve my grounding issue, so all my pumps are going to be working fine now. I'm in search of the grounding thing, so for now I'm going to go ahead and start pulling wires. I've got my 2 speaker wires, the 14.2 and I'm going to use 16.2 because I'm running out of 14.2 for the 2 speakers in the back. So I'm going to pull these through. Got a string here so that way I can just pull back and forth. Hopefully those cushion clamps don't block me. If they do, then I'm gonna have to run a snake back there, but we'll see. And then after I get that string, then I can just pull my speaker or my amp wires for the power for the amp up to the front. And I think that's all the wiring that I need to pull. Oh nope, I need one more wire for the washdown pump. I forgot about that. Washdown pump needs a wire there. So I'm gonna try and pull all these wires until that rain cloud comes, and then once that comes, then I'll probably be stuck in the same rain situation as we were yesterday. So let me get these pulled this morning. Well, sweet, that worked out nice. So I got these two. I'm just gonna kind of run them into place and then cut them, label them, so that way I know what's what. Looks like I just got barely enough. This is all the 14.2 that I have left, so I'm gonna go ahead and run. That's going to go to this speaker here, and the other one, this 16, I'll run over to that speaker over there. And how is this ran? Oh, it's ran up on the top, so I need to run it across the top like that to knock that out. So I just snipped the speaker wire out of this rigging tube, like out of this thing right here, and I was actually able to pull pretty smoothly this whole wire out. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go get my red wire for my washdown pump. I'm gonna tie it to this one here, and then maybe I'll be able to reach in here and pull this wire out and be able to maybe even pull on this wire and run that washdown wire through this rigging grommet. That might actually work. That's going to be, if that did, that would be amazing. So let me go tie that up and then also get my amp wires to see if I can pull all this stuff through. For pulling this wire like this, you don't just want to wrap that one around that one, because you can just pull this out. You want to twist it up to where this speaker wire is all twisted up. You see how that's all twisted? You need to get that twist in there. If not, you'll be like this, and you see how the wire's just straight and this wire's wrapped around it. You'll pull it right off, but with that twist, it's going to lock in place. And then now we can just cover this thing up with electrical tape, which should give us enough strength to pull on this thing. Okay, let's see how we do. Hopefully this pulls through. That would be amazing. And now that we're starting to make some real progress on this boat, I wanted to let you know that we're just over halfway done with the boat. So if you haven't taken advantage of the 25% off on the BAB fishing shirts at BornAgainBoatingShop.com, you should get yours today while there's still time left. That worked out wonderfully. Got that through the tube, so now that's for my washdown. Going back here to that red wire there, so that's perfect. Now up here, what I need to do is go ahead and undo enough of this to get it up through. I don't know if I'll be able to make it through that rigging tube or not. I'm gonna give it a shot, and then boom, that's gonna go up there to my washdown switch. So the problem is that I don't think I can get through this one, because they put all that tape on everything. Like, everything's got this tape on all the wires, so I highly doubt I can get it through that rigging tube. I'm gonna try, see what I can do just to make it look really, really clean. If not, I'll just kind of push it in there, run it up, and abandon those speaker wires in there, because I'm not taking all that apart just to get all the old speaker wire out. Well, I must admit that that is pretty amazing that I got that wire up through that tube. So now I can kind of run it with the rest of these wires and put it into this loom. I don't really like how this loom is that catches water like that, but this is going to kind of go like this once that dash is in. So I'm not 100% how that's all going to look, but let me run this up and out. I'll also need to take this orange wire out while I'm here just to get that thing out of there. But yeah, this is coming along good. Oh, look at all the dirt all over my nice clean gel coat. But got speakers hooked up, back's on there. I need to get a couple of screws, so I've got my screw right here so I can go get some new ones. This one's, the head's busted, and I mean, it's not that bad, but I've got 2 on each one, so I need to go get 4 screws. But looking over there, it looks like it's about to get nasty and start pouring here in about a half hour or so. So I'm gonna see if I can't go ahead and get my battery cable, or not my battery cables, but these cables run for the amplifier. So I'm gonna get these down here and then get them over here to my string, tie them up, and get those pulled for my amp, so that way as soon as it does start raining, I can be in here wiring up the amp, and then I'll probably even go to the store and see about getting my navigation light. That's the only switch that I need, is this navigation switch. And then as soon as I put that on there, then boom, I could seal this, put it up in there, and really just clean all that up over there and be done as far as my wiring situation goes over here. I'm still going to need to do the VHF radio and the stereo to wire all that stuff up, but at least this will stop all the water from coming in here, and it'll really move the project along. So let me get these battery cables ran and see what the weather's looking like, and if we can run to the store or if we can keep on working on stuff. Big old pile of trash, I need to get that out of the boat too. Okay, that worked out outstandingly. So now I just need to get my cutters there and take that string off. I could tie this string back here somewhere and leave it for a pull string for later, but I'm pretty sure that's all the wires I need to pull. These can just all this is just going to tuck over here to the side like that. I'm not really going to zip tie anything because it's all just laying in here, but I do need to do something with, I'm going to take that out because that is not good. That sharp edge can cut something. But I still need to mess with this, and I need to mess with that one over there. But at least I got all my wires ran, and the cloud is just now getting here, so it looks like it's like clearing up a little bit, but still probably gonna rain. So now I need to just get these to where they need to go, cut them, I can put ends on them, and then that'll be pretty much all back here will be done. This one I'm just gonna run to my main breaker for the house because we're not running a big amp, we're not running a big stereo. If they want to change it later and put in a bigger stereo, they'll have to change it to its own separate breaker, but for now that breaker will be fine for what we are actually running over here. So let me go ahead and get these where they need to be. I can cut them, put ends on them, and that will be good for our amp wires. So yeah, all our wires are pulled. Well, as soon as I fit those two things right there, I can clean this compartment and put that back into place, screw it down, and realistically, well, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to wait on that. I need to pull this wire back. I'm going to coil it up right here. I just need to pull this, so I'm just going to coil this up and leave it dangling there as a pull string if anybody ever wanted to run anything through that too. But what I want to do is, since I'm putting splices on here, I'm going to put this in, and then what I'll do is I want to put it in the water before I put this in. That way if there's a leak, I can see it before I put all this back together. That'd be the wise thing to do. And that's looking pretty. Got the VHF radio in there. I still need to seal up a little bit more. This thing doesn't fit as flush as I would like it to. It's got like a little bump, but I'm just going to seal around that opposed to cutting it out more, because you got like no room for air when you flush mount that thing. That thing looks like it needs to be exact. So I'm just going to fill that in with silicone, or not silicone, but BoLife to make it seal. Got our compass in here looking nice, wired up. So that pretty much does it for up here. I'm pretty much done up here. Still waiting on a nav switch. That won't be till tomorrow. I need to make the bracket right here for the radio, and I can get the radio installed. But for now, I think I'm going to come back here and start working on this situation back here, being those grounds. And then also I can hook up, now that I got my wires here for my washdown pump, I can go ahead and hook that up and get the washdown pump wired up. I can put the ends on my amp wires and get those wired up. And then yeah, let me work on this ground block. A lot of these ends, I'm gonna actually end up changing most of these ends here. Just so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blues, 1 yellow, and 2 pinks. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna snip all these off and put new ends on there. That I don't want to, yeah, cleaning those up is just too, that's not gonna do it. I'm gonna go ahead and put new ends on there and wire that up, and that'll kind of fix it back here. And then before I leave today, hopefully I can get those 2 drains fixed as far as the live well fill and drain. There we go, that's looking pretty. I also got these hooked up, but before I clean up all this wiring, I mean before I put these on too, I got to do these too, but before I hook this up and clean up all that wiring down there, I want to go ahead and make sure that all my stuff's working. So turn my battery switch on here. Battery switch is on, breaker's on. So let's see here. Wash down. Bilge pump. It's running. Not running very well. Now it's running really well, but when I do it like that, that's not doing so hot. I might have to do some more investigation here. Live well? Live well's working. The other live well. The other live well is not working. It's like I need to get my meter out and do some investigation here. Something ain't right. Probably something to do with this. Alright, let me go get a meter and see what's going on here, because something's not right. One of these breakers, something's not right. Alright, so we got a problem with these live wells here. The wires they're not working right. So you can take the meter here, 12 volts. This is basically a meter. Put it to my switch, and I got 12.1, and I got 12.1. But if I was to hit this button here, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Now that one's working. But if I put it to its switch here, now it's working, but it wasn't a minute ago. So I think this wire's bad. Honestly, I don't care that it's working now. It's been intermittent. And let's go see what we got as far as voltage back here for this one here. Now I got 12 volts back here now that I'm looking at it, and I bet it turns this pump on. .1, but this thing is not coming on. And I just redid this ground wire. Look at this black. There's something not right here. It's 11.5. Maybe it's just this pump's bad. I mean, this ground is black, so that's not good. Well, if it ain't one thing, it's another thing. So I got the new live well pump in here, and wouldn't you know it, now the 90 degree no longer is seated fully. So there's nothing I can do about that. That's fully seated. I can't spin it around anymore. So now I'm gonna have to take a hose, loop it around, and bring it up in order for it to, I don't know if I can, I mean, yeah, I can't leave it like this, loose like that. That's not gonna work. And this is as tight as I can. I might be able to put some grips on there and tighten it, but honestly that's a bad idea. That's going to just strip out and ruin that housing. So this is wonderful. Well, looking at this wire, I cut a little piece off of it, and that thing is, that's no good. So I'm going to go ahead and run another wire for this. Unfortunately, I don't have these colors, so what I'm going to do is, since I need to kind of do this. I'm just gonna zip tie the wire to that, so that way they can see the color if anybody ever has to deal with this ever again. But this one's gonna get a new wire, and then I'll zip tie this one to the new wire because the new wire is gonna be red, but at least that way that's an identification of what it was. I don't know who put this boat together, but I'm trying to change out this drain hose, and that through hole wasn't even tight. This thing was all loose, so I gotta go ahead and pull that fitting out and reseat it or put a new one in there. I mean, that's just a hack job. I can't believe that thing's gotta be leaking the water. Surprised the transom ain't rotten. Good thing this boat ain't been in the water much. So I have to seal that up, put this new drain hose in there. I gotta cut that zip tie right there so I can get this to the right length. But yeah, that's pretty ridiculous right there. So, oh man, yeah, so I'll just have to cut that and run this hose over. Give me a little bit of extra to play with, and I can cut whatever off I can cut off. But yeah, one thing after another. So run that wire next. I was just trying to cut this hose so I could put this up, but yep, let me cut this off. All right, this is looking beautiful in here, but now that I've got it all together, I'm kind of concerned on whether or not any of these other grounds. Yeah, I think what it is, I think this boat got a lot of water in it at some point in time, and so like stuff like these live wells and those other ones, the two live wells and the bilge pump, I might have to run grounds to everything. I really don't know. I'm kind of concerned about it now, but we'll see how it plays out. I mean, it's set up in here, but it's not perfect. So let me move on to this drain. I'm going to put the splice in there, and sun's going down, so we'll see how far it is that we can make it tonight. See if I can get that spliced up. I'm going to run the wire for this live well and get that one hooked up, and then we'll see what kind of time we're looking at that point in time. There we go, that's much better. So when we put the piece down in here, this is gonna be tucked in there. It's not gonna be rubbing. That's no longer gonna be an issue. Same thing for this one. We got that one tucked in there nice and neat. I need to do something with that string, but actually, whoa, what happened here? I don't know what my strings popped out. It must be wrapped around this hose for the live well, so that's interesting. But now I need to run this wire here, which the problem with this is that you can't just run these wires. Like this one right here, I've got it through all the way up to here through the rigging tube, so this needs to be in the rigging tube. You can't just have wires run through the boat like I have it here, but it's through the rigging tube all the way up to here. It's not really in a rigging tube, it's in a grommet. They use these things, these sheathings, as like this is what their rigging tubes are made out of, and they've still got stranded wires just all over the place. That's not really very good if you ask me, but nonetheless, this is what we have to do. I need to get a wire to here for my live well here, so let me figure that out. I'll probably just crimp it to this one, and then once I crimp it, then I can just pull that wire and pull it all the way through. But I also need to take that fitting out right there through the through hole, so I don't know which one I want to do really. Don't know which one. I don't want to pull that wire, that's a problem. So I kind of want to do that one because it's easier, but we'll see which one I end up doing. At this point in time, I'm just adding things to my list of what I'm doing. I got this wire crimped, ready to pull. I'm gonna let that cool down so that way it makes it nice and smooth. While I'm waiting on that, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these. So like this right here is a screw. I'm gonna pull that screw out and pull these wires down. Oh, that's interesting, but these are my steering pump wires. So I'm gonna pull these wires down, and once I get them down, same thing for my hoses, pull the hoses down. That way I can put it up here, see what it looks like, and that'll give me the spacing, so then I can figure out the amp, because I must mount the amp right here. I don't know this canvas. I'm gonna put the amp on spacers to get it off of the back of the upholstery here, but yeah, that's still gonna go on this wall here.